Humans and Autobots must join forces once again after a mysterious new threat arrives on Earth in Transformers: Age of Extinction.
Hey, I'm Mark Wahlberg. You're watching Made in Hollywood. Here's a scene from Transformers.
Bring it up! All the way!
You guys have never seen a truck like this before.
Dad, you can't keep spending money on junk.
I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a Transformer.
This is the fourth film in the hugely successful franchise. We know that it is a new cast, so I want to know how you got involved with the film. Because you are Mark Wahlberg, I want to know, does your agent just call you up and he or she is like, hey Mark, want to do a Transformers movie?
Well, oddly enough, Michael and I share the same agent. So we made a movie, Pain and Gain, together, and we had a great experience, and he asked me if I wanted to do this, and I said sure. And it was pretty much, that's how it happened.
Ready, and
It was a really long casting process, and I grew up being a huge fan of Transformers, and when I found out they were casting a girl my age, I was really excited to audition, and I met with Denise Chamian, who's the casting director, who's so lovely and amazing, and I met with her a few times, and I didn't really hear, so I just assumed I didn't get it, and eventually I met with Michael and screen tested with Jack, and I got a call a few weeks later, and I was very excited.
A nice little exchange with sort of the dueling smiles.
Yeah, and I like the little smile.
No, it didn't really happen that way. I wish it had. But in the end, the phone call is like that. I had actually heard this film was coming, and I thought, there's no reason I shouldn't be doing it. I expressed that sentiment to my agent, who expressed that sentiment to Michael Bay, who saw a clip of Boss, and who called eventually and said, hey, Kelsey, you want to do a Transformers movie? So eventually that is what happened.
Actually, that is the way it happened. And I'll be honest, no, my agent called up, he said, Michael Bay wants to talk to you about, and Michael had asked me to do a movie a couple years before and I couldn't do it. So he said, Michael really wants to talk about doing Transformers. I was like, oh my God, you're kidding. How much fun would that be? So I talked to Michael on the phone. He gave me the script, read it, talked to Michael on the phone, and I said, I love this. I would love to do it.
I was just in U.S. and my U.S. agent called me to see Michael. We have a meeting and we talk about his movie. He said he's gonna shoot this movie, and my role originally is a man. And he said, after he met me, he said, I might can change it to be a female. It's gonna be much more fun. I said, why don't you do that? Change it, and I love to work with you.
I'm gonna ask you this once. Where is Optimus Prime?
You don't even really have to think about it, right? Because you're like, yeah.
With Michael, with Michael, it's a no-brainer. He's such a talented guy, and yeah, I had a great experience working with him, and it was really, he created an opportunity and environment for me to really be creative and to try things and to feel like I was, he had my back. So yeah, it was a no-brainer.
And for a movie like Transformers, that you could just get a call like that, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
But I fear we are all targets now.
What is that?
Who sent you here?
Get excited because in just a few minutes, imagine Dragons!
The first thing that I thought of when I was watching this movie today was this music in the movie is amazing. And I'm a huge film score nerd. Like, I listen to film score Pandora on the rig.
Awesome.
So I have to ask you, because my all-time favorite composer is Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
And you guys got to work with him, so I need you to tell me about how amazing he really is.
He's so stuck up, such a diva. I mean, it's impossible to get a word in with him.
Oh no.
He's the nicest, sweetest guy you've ever met in your life.
He's 10 times cooler than you're thinking.
Him and Steve Jablonsky together are they're both legends in their own right, and both of them are just everything you could want and more, just amazing.
Every time Hans Zimmer opens his mouth, it's like, I want to scoot up with him next to the fire, sit down there, and just listen to his story.
This is not war. It's human extinction.
Actually, before I got here, I went to the Paramount studio lot in LA, and I talked to the transportation coordinator, Randy Peters. We hijacked Optimus Prime, and we drove him off the lot.
That's cool. My God.
And I'm like, this is so awesome. So for you guys, the first time that you got to see these now iconic Transformers cars, what was it like for you?
To see for the first time, to see Bumblebee or Optimus or on set and to sit in them, it was really exciting.
I remember the first time I saw Optimus was when we were training in Playa Vista.
Yeah,
and we were, those big warehouses, Howard Hughes' old warehouses in Playa Vista? We were down there, and that's where they were kind of prepping for the film. And I just remember they had this big sheet over the truck, and I just walked over to it one day, and I was like, whatever, I don't care if I get in trouble for this. And I pulled it off.
Ripped it off.
I was like, whoa.
It was pretty cool, especially seeing the new Optimus getting in the truck for the first time.
My first day of rehearsal actually was doing like close combat drill stuff, and the truck happened to be in the hangar that we were in, and I thought, wow, that's him. That's Optimus Prime.
You see these things in the flesh, if that's the right word, or in the steel, and it's really impressive, I have to say.
Most like the other cars, like the Lamborghini and the Bugatti and the Pagani, Michael wouldn't let me near any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
He wouldn't even let you sit in it when the cameras were rolling?
When we were rolling too, it was like, be very careful, take your shoes off. I had that one scene in the Bugatti at night. He was like, dude, don't get any dust. I had to wipe my feet before I got in.
I was able to get into one of them, I must admit. one of the guys who took care of one of the cars let me in.
On the side, and you weren't supposed to tell anyone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Michael that you
I
did
actually
that.
drove it in a parking lot.
How many more of my kind must be sacrificed?
Gotta have faith, Prime. Maybe not in who we are, and who we can be.
You guys made Battle Cry, which is one of the songs in the film. What inspired that song? Did you guys get to see footage beforehand before you wrote the song?
Yes, actually it was really crazy what happened. We were in Boston at the time on tour, about to go on stage, and our manager came in and said, hey, Michael Bay is on Skype and he wants to speak with you. And so we said, okay.
Because everyone gets that call
Right,
every day.
of course, all the time. I was like, hold on one second, Mr. President, and then went over and jumped on the call. And Michael Bay was really passionate, very cool. He said, look, I know you guys are really busy, but he said, look, I just want to tell you the story of the new Transformers movie and see if it inspires anything. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't, So he proceeded to tell us the story and showed us a couple clips, like literally like 1 minute of clips. But it was really about the storytelling. And while he was telling it, I had this melody that kind of just came into my mind. We were all just really excited and on board and started recording that night. And Battle Cry really wrote itself within, I don't know, like 3 days or something.
I'm not leaving my dad.
In the movie, there is a very emotional scene between Cade and Optimus, and he says, from every mistake comes a great reward. So I was wondering, if you were to list your greatest rewards in your life thus far, what would they be?
Oh, well, it'd have to be my children.
Of course.
My greatest rewards, yeah.
Yes.
And my great love, Kate. But that was never a mistake. So my greatest rewards just are. I don't count almost any day of my life as a mistake.
I have an incredible fiance. That's the biggest reward I think I've ever received in my life.
Yeah.
My career is a massive blessing as well.
I'm going to have to say my family. I just have a wonderful, supportive, loving family, and
does.
It's the most important thing to me.
Oh, it would have to be my wife and my children.
Of course.
A beautiful family.
I've made maybe a couple of bad turns, but then I ended up going down a road I wouldn't have known about otherwise.
We need a new army.
in Hollywood.